In the 5th year of my secret marriage with Pei Jean, I decided to get a divorce. I exchanged hundreds of millions in assets for custody of my son. But my son, just like his father, fell in love with his Auntie Pian. I don't want either my son or you. Let's get a divorce. On the day of the divorce, my son cried his heart out, but I never looked back. Pei Jean stood in the wind and snow for a long time. The president will arrive at the company in half an hour. Quickly prepare the tea. Qin Yao, the head of the service department, walked into the office in high heels and issued an order to me. Pairs of eyes, some envious and some scornful, were cast upon me. The entire service department knows that I make excellent tea and am favored by the president, which is why I'm in charge of the tea service for the general manager's office. I had just finished preparing the tea when Zhou Mi from the secretariat came over. He handed me a bag of coffee beans, freshly ground black coffee, 2 cups, needed in 15 minutes. I recognized this bag of coffee beans. It was the one Pei Jean had specially brought back from overseas last time. He usually doesn't drink coffee, especially black coffee. Zhou Mi paused. Will you make it in time? I nodded. Time is tight, and controlling the flavor of the coffee requires attention to detail, whether it's grinding or brewing. But 15 minutes later, I still served 2 cups of fragrant and mellow black coffee. The entire top floor is occupied by the general manager's office and the president's secretariat. I was holding the coffee and had just gone upstairs when I heard the chaotic footsteps of the secretariat, and behind me, a neat President Pei. Miss Qin. My steps faltered, and I stepped aside. Pei Jean and Qin Pian brushed past me. Both of them only turned their heads slightly and glanced at me. Thank you for your trouble, I will take it. Zhou Mi came over to take the coffee. I nodded. Looking up again, Pei Jean and Qin Pian were already sitting comfortably on the sofa in the office. The two leaned together naturally. Zhou Mi knocked on the door. President Pei, Miss Qin, coffee. The two looked up, saw me again, and once again tacitly shifted their gaze to Zhou Mi. I turned and left, like a qualified employee. It had been half an hour since work ended, but no one in the service department had left yet. It wasn't until the secretariat called to say that President Pei and Miss Qin had left that the people in the service department collectively breathed a sigh of relief and picked up their coats, bags, and keys to go home. Only when they were out of the surveillance range of the office area did people dare to gossip. Isn't President Pei married? He even has a child. So what is Miss Qin? Obviously, President Pei doesn't like his wife at all, otherwise, why hasn't he ever revealed her identity? Last time I heard Miss Qin accidentally let slip that the president's wife climbed into President Pei's bed by unscrupulous means. I'm afraid this is probably true. My heart trembled slightly. I raised my hand to smooth the wrinkles in my heart, and silently chose a less crowded path to the parking lot. The place where I park is very remote. Cowardly people don't dare to park in there, firstly because the direction of the underground garage is not easy to identify, and secondly, something happened in there before, and normal people have some taboos in their hearts. But only this place lets me breathe. Just getting off work? A man's clear, cold voice came. I looked up and met his eyes. The light was dim. He leaned against the hood of my car, his smile a little blurred. I walked over, pressed the button, and unlocked the car. He moved away from the hood. I've already asked the driver to pick up Hao, so you don't need to prepare dinner. We might be late coming back tonight, so you should go to bed early. Pei Jean lowered his eyes to look at me. I sat in the driver's seat and then looked up at him. Today is Hao's birthday. Did you ask him who he wanted to spend it with? I asked. My heart clenched, and I couldn't say anything more. Pei Jean closed the car door for me. I started the car, and he leaned in at the window and said again, "Drive carefully." The pent-up frustration inside me almost exploded at that moment. But I still nodded, my face expressionless. Actually, I'm not qualified to be angry. In other people's words, I brought this on myself. 10 years ago, I fell in love with Pei Jean at first sight. 5 years ago, I accidentally ended up in his bed and had Hao. Pei Jean was forced to marry me under pressure from his elders. He doesn't like being schemed against. At first, I even fantasized about using my sincerity to move him and make him change his mind. I also tried to clear up the misunderstanding from back then, and it was even quite effective for the first 2 years. He greatly changed his opinion of me. But 3 years ago, he fell in love at first sight with the confident and flamboyant Qin Pian at a car race. But at that time, Hao Hao was still young and couldn't be without a mother. So, he made an agreement with me that we would get divorced when Hao Hao was 4 years old. I agreed to the divorce 3 years ago, so there's nothing to struggle about. The only thing I can't accept is that he wants custody of Hao Hao. I can leave with nothing, but I can't give up my child. I can't tolerate my child, whom I carried for 10 months and raised with my own hands, calling someone else mom. Obviously, Pei Jin also thought of this, so for the past year, he has often brought Hao Hao to spend time with Qin Pian. In order to get me to give up custody of Hao Hao, he has been trying every possible means and sparing no effort. When I got home, even though I was very tired, I still made a birthday cake for Hao Hao myself and specially cooked preserved egg and lean meat porridge for him. A few days ago, he hugged my neck and acted spoiled, saying that he wanted to drink the preserved egg and lean meat porridge I made myself on his birthday. There's a cake, there's porridge. I thought carefully about what else Hao Hao might want to eat, and before I knew it, I had made a large table of food. Looking at the table full of delicacies, I couldn't help but laugh. Who's going to eat all this? Aren't you silly? Turning around, I put all the dishes back into the kitchen, but I was still thinking that if they came back and were hungry, it would be better than ordering takeout. After doing everything, I was like a withered tree, guarding the living room, waiting for the 2 people who didn't want to come back. Wan, do you want to watch the competition? The SKP hacker defense competition. Lu Yu called. SKP hacking competition? Hearing it suddenly, it felt so distant. I almost forgot that I used to have my own hobbies. I went out and met at the agreed place. The SKP hacking competition was held at the Gaoshan Gymnasium. It gathered many domestic and foreign computer experts. Lu Yu led me to the seat he had reserved, pointing to the only female contestant wearing a mask on the field. Her name is KK. She's a very famous hacker who has been very well known abroad these years. I heard she's planning to return to China to develop. I've been eyeing her for a long time. Lu Yu's eyes were shining. It was obvious that he really admired KK. But with just one glance, I recognized who she was. She's Qin Pian. Huh? What? Lu Yu reacted, damn. It's her. My bad for being blind. I couldn't bring myself to say hypocritical words like, don't be prejudiced against her because of me. In fact, I was very wary of my close friends coming into contact with Qin Pian. I don't know why, but as long as they got involved with her, they would completely defect to her side. Just like my dad loved her mom, even if my mom threatened to die, my dad still wanted to abandon his wife and children to be with her mom. My older brother, my mom's own son, my husband, my own son, were all the same. This is probably the charm of being a popular, beloved character, plus a masked female protagonist persona. It's indeed hard not to be tempted. Just then, Qin Pian completed an attack and defense, and the whole place roared with cheers, chanting KK's name. A large screen projected onto a father and son. The light in their eyes was dazzling, and the little boy was even more gleeful, shouting, Auntie Pian Pian, go. I gave birth to him and raised him for 4 years, and he had never admired or liked me so much. I'm going to the bathroom. Lu Yu also saw the big screen, and his face turned dark. I'm getting ready to leave. I'll wait for you outside. I nodded. As soon as I came out of the bathroom, I ran into another acquaintance. Chasing her here? Can you even understand it? Sichin washed his hands while looking at me in the mirror, a smile on his lips, somewhat mocking. He is one of Qin Pian's loyal followers, and also the 3rd young master of the Xi family, with a strong background. Before, for Pei Jin, I didn't want to offend this kind of person. Let them say whatever they wanted. But now, whether I understand it or not is none of 3rd young master Xi's concern. I turned on the faucet to wash my hands, never looking at him again. Si-chin was stunned for a moment. As I was leaving, I accidentally bumped into someone. I'm sorry. I apologized, looked up, and met a pair of deep, cold eyes. I've seen that face in Pei-jin's network. Siyu, the Si family's young master. The Si family's 3 branches, the eldest branch in the military, the second in politics, and the third in business. In terms of background, the eldest branch is the most powerful. This young master of the Si family rarely shows himself in public. His sudden appearance here today undoubtedly means that Si-chin specifically brought him to open up military connections for Qin Pian. Siyu nodded at me. I nodded in return and left. Sure enough, Qin Pian was coming from the other end. A smile immediately spread across Si-chen's face. The competition is over? Yes. Qin Pian nodded, curiously looking in the direction Si-chen had been looking, and saw a familiar figure. Lin Wan? Yes, probably chasing after your friend. Qin Pian smiled, not taking it to heart. Don't you mind? Mind what? Si-chen thought about it and agreed. Although Lin Wan is a rare beauty, she always seems a little bland compared to Qin Pian's confidence and flamboyance. He's seen many women like Lin Wan who live by clinging to men. No matter how infatuated or sincere they are, they'll never be lacking beautiful, devoted women with their status. Such a woman is no match for Qin Pian. Just then, Siyu walked over, and Si-chen introduced the two. Although Siyu had watched the entire attack and defense competition, he only greeted Qin Pian and didn't immediately show any intention of recruiting him. But Si-chen still leaned over and said, besides Lin, I can't think of anyone more talented than her. Siyu smiled and went to the restroom. Si-chen spread his hands. My brother just wants to dig Lin out and bring her back to the military. Don't mind him. It's okay. Qin Pian nodded, smiling like a spring breeze. As compensation, Si-chen extended an olive branch to Qin Pian. Now that you're back in the country, are you interested in coming to Dingli? I might consider Chiyue. Si-chen knew that Qin Pian was very interested in the algorithm Lin had left behind, so he was naturally happy to help. Chiyue has quite a few fans of yours. Lu Yu also inquired about you before. If you go, they'll definitely be ecstatic. Qin Pian smiled, showing no signs of excitement or dismay. I got into Lu Yu's car. Are you okay? Lu Yu thoughtfully handed me a bottle of water. I took a sip and nodded, I'm fine. Lu Yu breathed a sigh of relief. Let's go back to Chiyue. I'm still holding your position for you. I didn't answer immediately. After being a tea lady for 4 years, I'm already out of touch with this industry. Especially after witnessing the attack and defense battle between advanced hackers tonight. I can feel that even more clearly. Let me think about it. Lu Yu smiled, you're willing to consider it? Then I'll take that as a yes. I smiled. It's rare to have a friend who won't betray me, and I cherish him. A child's voice suddenly entered my ears. Dad, are we going back now? I don't want to go back. Mom will force me to eat cake and make a wish again. I'm not a 3-year-old anymore. I want to celebrate my birthday with Auntie Pian. Please. Not far away, a boy was clinging to Pei Jin's hand, acting spoiled. In the light of the car, I could even see the tears in the corners of his eyes. Pei Jin was both doting and helpless. Okay, we'll wait for Auntie Pian. Not going over? Lu Yu asked me. I shook my head. Let's go. The car drove past them. Pei Jin protected Hao and moved to the side. Probably because Pei Jin recognized Lu Yu's car, he glanced into the car. Our eyes met. I looked away, just like I would at the company. He smiled, like he would at any stranger. Auntie Pian. In the rearview mirror, my precious son finally waited for his Auntie Pian and rushed to her enthusiastically. Lu Yu quickly made a U-turn. The heartbreaking scene flashed by. I chuckled, I'm not that fragile. Lu Yu, yeah, you're the strongest. Going home and seeing the cake on the table, I felt a sense of irony. I threw the cake into the trash can, and the carefully prepared meal along with it. Even the happy birthday decorations on the wall were taken down. By the time I finished cleaning up, it was 2 hours later, and I could hear the sound of a car in the garden. Jean and How were back. Mom, I'm back. He saw me in the kitchen, patted his round little belly, his eyes darted around, and he tiptoed upstairs. I didn't call him. I just sealed the trash bag and prepared to throw it out. Jean took off his coat halfway, walked over, and took the trash bag. I'll do it. The trash bag was indeed a bit heavy, and I let go. Upstairs, How opened the door a crack, peeked out, and when he didn't see anyone chasing him, he playfully stuck out his tongue. He opened his tablet and complained to the person on the other end, Auntie Pian, you don't know, it was so dangerous just now. I almost got caught by my mom. I'm so afraid she'll make me eat cake and longevity noodles. I'm really full. If I don't eat it, she'll be sad, but if I do, I'll feel uncomfortable. Why does she always do such old-fashioned things? I brought the birthday gift over and heard the voices inside. It didn't feel as painful as I had imagined. I raised my hand and knocked on the door. How looked like a startled rabbit, quickly stuffing the tablet under the covers. He ran over with little steps, but only opened the door halfway. Mom, I ate a lot outside. He emphasized earnestly and aggrievedly. I nodded. Okay, here's your toy. I handed him the toy. Happy birthday. He happily took it. Thank you, Mom. I nodded again, turned around, and left. How held the toy, momentarily stunned. It felt like something was missing today. But he was busy sharing the joy of the day with Auntie Pian. His little head didn't have time to think too much. Anyway, Mom is always there. As long as he turns back, she will always be standing there, gazing at him gently. That day, I packed a lot of things. I also figured out a lot of things. After returning to the room to wash up, Jean was already lying in bed reading. Originally, I was going to sleep in a separate room from him, but he said he was afraid How would notice something, which would be bad for his development. For the past 3 years, we had been in the same room, on the same bed, and it had been peaceful. I lay down on the bed, and he naturally put down his book and turned off the light. His gentle, thick hand softly placed over the blanket on my waist. You've worked hard. He was referring to the bags of garbage I had thrown out. I'll give you custody of How. The large hand on my waist paused for a moment, then withdrew. After a while, the man behind me replied, okay. There was no attempt to persuade me to stay. There never would have been any persuasion to stay. I closed my eyes. I got up before dawn. I started packing my things. You don't have to rush to move out, the divorce won't be that quick. I didn't look up. I need to adjust first. Jean didn't speak, leaning against the door, silently finishing a whole glass of water. I'll have the lawyer contact you about the divorce agreement and property division. You can ask for anything you want. Okay. How, starting tomorrow, Mom will be very busy, and Dad will find a nanny to take care of you. You need to listen to her. Okay, Mom, I know. I looked in the rearview mirror. How was chatting on his tablet, the corners of his mouth raised high, not listening to me at all. I didn't say anything else, and drove him all the way to kindergarten. Mom, are you picking me up this afternoon? Mom has something to do this afternoon. The driver will pick you up. How almost couldn't contain his smile, happily getting out of the car with his small backpack. Goodbye, Mom. Goodbye, How. Turning around, How dialed his watch phone and started chatting with someone again. Back in the car, I saw the unfinished chat on the tablet. Auntie Pian, I want to have dinner with you. Can you take me to play games? Where's your mom? Mom is home every day. I can see her anytime, but Auntie Pian is not someone How can see every day. How misses you. There were many more messages, but I didn't read them. Just for a moment, my heart slowed down. I took out my phone. Luyu, I'm ready to go back. I used to just want to take good care of Hao and Peijin, but now, I don't need to. Luyu replied with a smile, welcome. This place will always be yours. My eyes suddenly felt hot. I submitted my resignation letter to Qin Yao. I hope to leave within a week. If there are any penalties, I can pay them. Qin Yao joined the company the year before last and is very capable. I've been with the company for 4 years and am just a tea lady, but she became my immediate superior as soon as she arrived. Actually, I know that many people in both the General Affairs Department and the General Manager's office are laughing at me. But one thing they have to admit is that my tea-making skills are irreplaceable to Peijin. They've been secretly trying to learn over the years, especially Qin Yao, but the results haven't been satisfactory. In the following week, Qin Yao openly stole my techniques. I didn't avoid it at all. Let her learn if she wants. Not just her, many young girls in the General Affairs Department want to get close to Peijin with this skill. Zhoumi was very shocked when he came to get tea and saw such a grand scene of learning, but he didn't say much. Until the last day, Qin Yao's tea was brought to Peijin. Peijin only took a light sniff and put down the teacup. Has the General Affairs Department changed people? Lin Wan resigned. Peijin paused slightly and continued working. Zhoumi didn't know what he was thinking, but he couldn't help adding, she even paid a high penalty to leave within a week. Maybe, he felt a little sorry for me. Unfortunately, Peijin didn't react at all. I was brought to Chiyu by Luyu. Coincidentally, Sichen also brought Qin Pian on the same day. Fan Xin, the director of the technology department, almost pounced on Qin Pian. KK. Is it KK? Qin Pian remained unfazed and extended her hand to him. Hello, I'm KK, my real name is Qin Pian. Fan Xin was so excited that his face turned red, and he shook Qin Pian's hand, listing KK's achievements over the years one by one. Luyu looked at me, and I looked at Luyu, both of us speechless. Sichen glanced at me, choosing to completely ignore me. As a tea girl, I was never in his eyes. Sichen walked straight towards Luyu. President Liu, I've found the person you wanted. Luyu didn't even bother to pretend, his face turning cold immediately. No need, I've already found the person I want. Only then did Sichen cast his gaze on me. You wouldn't be talking about her, would you? The disdain and contempt in his eyes were undisguised. Luyu subconsciously stepped forward to protect me. President C doubts my judgment? Or is President C trying to interfere with Chiyu? We signed a non-interference agreement in the presence of the higher-ups back then. This is the foundation of the cooperation between Chiyu and Ding Tian. The technical department also realized what was happening. Their wise and mighty President Liu had rejected their goddess KK for a tea girl. Almost instantly, everyone's gaze towards me changed. Qin Pian didn't care at all, only glanced at me before focusing her attention on Luyu. She said generously, President Liu probably doesn't know me well yet, I will prove my strength to you. With that, she left first. Sichen followed, pausing at the door and turning back to look at me. That look held a hint of disdain. Because of Qin Pian, he looked down on me, but how much did I care about him? Besides, I felt that I wouldn't have any interaction with someone like him, so if I offended him, so be it, who was afraid of whom? But the next night, when I drove to the dry cleaner to pick up my clothes, a person covered in blood rushed out of the alley and stopped my car. A dagger was held against my neck, glinting coldly. Drive. In the rearview mirror, I saw him clearly, and he saw me clearly too. Our eyes met, and the air seemed to freeze for a moment. He pursed his lips but didn't say anything, the dagger never leaving my neck. As soon as the car sped off, several men in black chased after us to the mouth of the alley. Despite having a dagger against my neck, I drove the car smoothly, driving straight to where he wanted to go. The car stopped, and I saw CU and another group of people. CU was stunned to see that I was being held hostage, and thanked me politely. Yes, thanked, not apologized. I didn't hold back, pointing at Sichen, who was being helped out of the car, "Can I beat him up?" The corners of Siyu's mouth almost turned up. He took a step back and made a gesture of invitation towards me. Si Chen's expression changed drastically. "Brother." I didn't give him a chance to beg for help, and threw a punch. And then. There was no then. Facts have proved that I am not as strong as Qin Pian. I heard that she can even exchange a few blows with people in Sonda. My wrist was injured by the strong impact. It hurts. It really hurts. But I can't show it in front of Qin Pian's simp. I held my wrist without a word, nodded to Siyu as if nothing had happened, and got in the car to leave. Si Chen was a little confused. Just now, was I scratched? My heart, it's so itchy. Siyu had a hard time suppressing the corner of his mouth. I can tell, she really wanted to beat you. Just. Pfft, several subordinates couldn't help but laugh. Siyu turned his face, the twitching corner of his mouth a little distorted. The next day, I went to Chiyu for work as usual. I ran into Si Chen and Siyu in the hallway. Si Chen looked away, pretending not to see me. He seemed to hate me even more, probably because I beat him up last night. Siyu nodded to me as if nothing had happened, and I nodded back. Luyu came out of the pantry with a cup of coffee, saw Siyu, and said in annoyance, "It's no use even if you come." Siyu smiled. "I just came over to take a look." Si Chen said sternly, "We're not here to ask you to pull strings." He raised his hand and looked at the watch on his wrist. "You have 10 minutes to prepare." What the hell? At this moment, someone ran over and said, "KK has declared war on Chiyu." Si Chen didn't speak, looked at Luyu, then at me, with provocation and sneer in his eyes. He deliberately passed by me and lowered his voice to mock. "What does it mean to be with Luyu? See that? Pian Pian's attack and defense platform is Liu under the Pei family." Luyu's fist instantly hardened. I responded indifferently, "So what?" Si Chen was stunned. Siyu slapped Si Chen on the back. "Look if you want to, get lost if you don't." Si Chen chose to shut up. Luyu directly called Fan Xin and 2 technical backbones in charge of network security to the office. Several top-of-the-line professional laptops were lined up, and the 3 took their places. Fan Xin is a genius. Luyu discovered him at the SKP attack and defense competition when he was 16. But even he didn't have the confidence to beat KK. "Boss Lu, it's not too late to apologize to KK now." When Fan Xin said this, he deliberately glanced in my direction. I know that these past 2 days, they've all been privately gossiping about how Luyu is so infatuated that he's beyond saving for giving up KK for a T-girl who couldn't even stay in the Pei Corporation. Luyu was too lazy to argue with them. "We won't lose." Fan Xin held his breath. The news that Qin Pian was using Luyu as a platform to declare war on Chiyu spread across the entire internet in just 10 minutes, faster than lightning could be concealed, thanks to the hype from interested parties. I don't know if this was Si Chen's doing or Pei Jin's, but undoubtedly, they both wanted to use this battle to make Qin Pian famous upon her return to the country. The defense line that Fan Xin and 2 technical backbones had established in a short period of time didn't even withstand Qin Pian's attack for 10 minutes. Chiyu collapsed completely, and the servers almost went on strike. Si Chen sneered dismissively, "It seems I should buy Qin Pian a drink to celebrate." "Excuse me." He left with a flourish of sarcasm. Fan Xin was somewhat annoyed. I tried my best. With his ability, he shouldn't have admitted defeat so quickly, but he just couldn't stand the fact that Luyu had driven his KK goddess away for a T-girl. Luyu deserves to be taught a lesson. Luyu saw everyone's thoughts, but he wasn't in a hurry. Instead, he asked me, "Want to practice?" Siyu, who stayed to watch, paused slightly while holding his teacup. 7 I knew Luyu wanted to establish my authority, so I didn't refuse his kindness. "Then, let me try." Amidst everyone's shocked and doubtful gazes, I took the computer from Fan Xin. The counterattack went smoothly. In the same 10 minutes, the Luyu defense line began to collapse. I could even feel Qin Pian's struggle on the other side. Everyone present was stunned. Except for Lu Yu, they all looked at me with incredulous eyes. Boss Lu, this. Fan Xin felt his lips tremble slightly. He admires strength. KK is strong, so he likes her and reveres her as a goddess. He came to Chiyue for Lin. Even if he might never meet this person, he is still willing to stay here. Otherwise, he might have resigned when KK was turned away. But now, a T-girl actually won against his KK goddess? Lu Yu sneered, it's not about who's famous, it's about who's good. This industry is about skill, not about being an influencer who just creates gimmicks to attract attention. Qin Pian is truly capable, so it's not fair to simply say she creates gimmicks to attract attention. Fan Xin and the two technical backbones were instantly ashamed and wanted to disappear. Lu Yu. Did Lu Yu step in? As expected of a 3-time SKP champion. We can't beat him. Miss Qin, what should we do? A group of supporters gave up. Fine beads of sweat also appeared on Qin Pian's forehead. Lu Yu was the former SKP champion, and so was she. To be precise, it wasn't easy for Lu Yu to win the SKP championship back then, but for her, it was a breeze. She had the capital to be proud, but what's happening today? Qin Pian's face was pale, showing obvious signs of exhaustion. Just then, Pei Jin, who had been watching from the sidelines, took her keyboard. Let me do it. Chiyue. I could clearly feel that my opponent had become stronger. After a few rounds, I realized who the person on the other side was. My fingers unconsciously flew out, creating afterimages. She's serious. Lu Yu sighed with a smile. Fan Xin and the others were stunned. Serious? The person who just defeated us was broken through with her first attack, and you're saying she wasn't serious before? Siyu took a sip of his cold tea to calm his nerves. The fierce attacks were overwhelming. Hacking is not my forte, and I'm not even sure if I can beat Pei Jin now. The wrist that was injured last night started to ache faintly. But, I don't want to lose. I can't lose either. Lu Yu. Pei Jin saw the familiar attack style and suddenly smiled. Feeling that discordant speed of a few hundredths of a second again, he stopped. I lost. Almost as soon as he finished speaking, Lu Yu was invaded, and the entire line of defense collapsed. Is Lu Yu that powerful? So many of us couldn't hold him for half an hour. President Pei is already powerful enough, he held out for 20 minutes against such a strong attack. Qin Pian's eyes were red. I'm sorry, I underestimated Lu Yu. Pei Jin didn't correct her, and affectionately ruffled her hair. I failed to protect you. Qin Pian looked up, her deep affection surging like a tide. She was right to choose him from among her many suitors. Sichen had just gone upstairs with wine to celebrate for Qin Pian when he saw the scene. His head exploded. The SKP Capture the Flag competition was initiated by Pei Jin and Lin 10 years ago. That time, even Lu Yu didn't beat Pei Jin, only Lin tied with Pei Jin. Could it be that Lin has appeared? Sichen dropped the wine and rushed downstairs. His mind was screaming, Lin has appeared, the person he's been looking for 10 years has finally appeared. He ran several red lights and returned to Chiyue. But he didn't see Lin, he only saw Siyu, Lu Yu, and others coming out of the office. His gaze quickly swept over everyone, lingering on each face for a few seconds, but skipping over me. Not seeing anyone resembling Lin, he became anxious. Is it Lin? Is it Lin? Everyone then looked at him as if he were an idiot. They had all just been forced to sign a confidentiality agreement, so what do you think? Lu Yu rolled his eyes at him and led me directly into the office. Sichen grabbed Fan Xin, knowing that Fan Xin had also joined Chiyu for Lin. Where is Lin? Have you seen her? Fan Xin pried his hand off. See, please have some self-respect. There's no Lin, today it was Lu who made the move. Having said that, he eagerly wanted to follow into the president's office, but Lu Yu chased him out. Siyu patted Sichen on the shoulder. What do you want to do? Lin's identity is protected from above. Do you want me to invite you for tea? Si Chen. Inside the office, I felt incredibly tired. Liu thoughtfully handed me a glass of water. Is it Pei Jean? I nodded. Liu was furious. He's truly blind, protecting a mistress so tightly. I rubbed my sore wrist and shook my head with a smile. I'm a little tired. Can I leave work early? Liu saw that my complexion was bad and was very worried. Should I take you home? I declined his kindness. Although Chiyu had won, it had just been attacked after all and needed him to take charge. Sitting in the car, I didn't even have the strength to start it. It felt like a thorn was stuck in my heart. I ran to the trash can and emptied my stomach. A tissue and a bottle of water were handed to me. It was see you. I wanted to refuse, but after thinking about it, I took it. Let me take you? Okay. I still didn't refuse. As the car drove out, I didn't tell Siyu my address, but he drove in the right direction without any deviation. I wasn't surprised at all. This was in line with the Si family's style. Siyu didn't say a word the whole way. It would be a lie to say that I wasn't uneasy, especially given his status. The car stopped at the entrance of the residential area, and I took the initiative to speak. I won't tell anyone about last night. Last night? Siyu was stunned for a moment before remembering Si Chen's antics last night. If I really wanted to silence you, you wouldn't be here now. Me? Is this what it means to have power and status? I already felt unwell, and now I feel even more nauseous and dizzy. If there's nothing else, I'll be going. I opened the door and got out of the car. Siyu, however, handed me a business card. Our military is in urgent need of AI talent. Would you consider it? I took the business card. Okay. Siyu. For some reason, even though I took the business card, he felt like he had been rejected. Dozing off, Hao's call came in, but I didn't answer it. In less than 10 minutes, Pei Jin's call also came, and I still didn't answer. Soon after, a text message popped up. Hao misses you. If you don't answer the phone again, I'll bring him to you. Left with no choice, I took a taxi back to the villa. Hao ran over and hugged my leg. Mommy, where did you go? Hao missed you so much. His teary eyes looked at me, and his legs kicked against me. But this time, I ignored it and didn't pick him up. Pei Jean came out of the kitchen, holding 2 bowls of noodles, clear soup and little else. I frowned slightly. Where's the nanny? Pei Jean smiled helplessly. The nanny has requested a leave of absence. I don't want a nanny, I want mommy. How could a nanny take care of him as thoughtfully and attentively as his mother? Hao burst into tears, kicking his legs even harder, trying to climb on me. I sighed, enduring the pain in my wrist, and picked him up anyway. Pei Jean glanced at me and asked, Have you eaten? I didn't want to talk. He placed a bowl of noodles in front of me. Seeing the noodles made me want to throw up again. The phone rang. It was the ringtone Pei Jean had set specifically for Qin Pian. Hao's ears perked up immediately, and he even forgot to cry. His little head rested on my shoulder, watching Pei Jean go out to answer the phone. I vaguely heard Pei Jean ask, Do you like it? It took about 10 minutes before Pei Jean came back. I have to go out. Hao is in your care. Hao didn't stick to me anymore, climbed off me. I'll see daddy off. Hao chased after Pei Jean. Pei Jean held him and said something, and he reluctantly nodded, then ran back to me. I pretended not to notice his little plan to go with Pei Jean to see Qin Pian. I cooked noodles again. Mommy, I want to eat noodles with fried sauce that you make. Hao followed me like a little tail. I used to think this kind of scene was very happy, and I would always give him whatever he wanted, but now. If Qin Pian hadn't been busy dating Pei Jean and had no time for him, he probably wouldn't have remembered me. I patted his head. Maybe another day, mommy's tired today. I had dinner with Hao, gave him a bath, and even read him a fairy tale. I finally coaxed him to sleep when I received a message from Liu Yu. Have you seen Qin Pian's Weibo? I didn't want to, but my fingers betrayed me. Hacker KK, who never exposed her relationships on Weibo, specifically posted hotel photos today. Presidential suite, roses covering the floor, a heart made of roses on the bed, a diamond necklace next to it, and a lace hollowed-out nightgown in the corner of the frame. The caption simply said, "I love it, thank you." So that's what do you like it? Was asking about? Chinpian also at Peijin's official account, and it seemed that Peijin was the first to like and comment. The comment section suddenly went crazy. KK Goddess's boyfriend is actually President Pei? President Pei is so doting. No wonder he gave Luyu to KK to play with. I'm shipping them. Mom, I believe in love again. Luyu scoffed dismissively. The comment section, which was hacked and failed to challenge us a few hours ago, is now full of gossip. I never thought that one day, the hacker goddess KK would need to rely on rumors to shift the focus and boost news, and Peijin is actually cooperating so well. Luyu suddenly felt that it was a bit much to say such things to someone like me, who had been married to Peijin for 5 years without being acknowledged. He cleared his throat. Is this their official announcement? Haven't you officially gone through the divorce procedures yet? I don't know if it was the roses that were too bright or the hollowed-out nightgown that was too dazzling, but my eyes just felt a sharp pain. Before long, I had a fever, burning and dizzy. When I woke up, it was already dawn. I don't know when I went from Hao's room to the master bedroom bed. A warm embrace enveloped me, comfortable and cozy. As soon as I moved, Peijin woke up. Immediately, a large hand touched my forehead. Thank goodness, the fever's gone. I subconsciously wanted to break free from his embrace. Peijin let go and smiled. I took a shower, several times. Me. I dislike the scent of other women on you, but is that the point? At that moment, I really wanted to swear. Peijin got up, took my wrist, and replaced a plaster. I then realized that a plaster had been applied to my wrist at some point, and the original swelling and pain had also subsided a lot. I know exactly what medicines are in the house, and there's definitely no plaster. He couldn't have bought it during his date with Chinpian last night, could he? Really? What do you want to eat? I'll make it. He always throws me a lifeline just as I'm sinking to the bottom. But this time, I won't hold on. I look up at him. When are we going to the Civil Affairs Bureau? Peijin pauses. When I have time. When will you have time? My voice involuntarily rises a few decibels. You've already made it official. What's with dragging me along? Am I just a part of your love play? Peijin looks at me gently. I'll try my best, next week at the latest. I don't say anything, finish washing up and leave. Peijin leans against the door, watching in the direction I left, until Hao wakes up. Where's Mommy? Mommy went to work. Peijin turns his head, his neck a little stiff, and he raises his hand to rub it. Hao, as if receiving good news, quickly picks up his tablet to video call Chinpian. With Mom around, he wouldn't dare video chat with Auntie Pian. Auntie Pian, Hao misses you. Peijin just watches, waiting until they finish chatting. Hao likes Auntie Pian so much, aren't you afraid Mommy won't want you? Hao blinks his innocent, big eyes. Hao was born from Mommy, why wouldn't Mommy want Hao? Peijin smiles. Because of that battle, the disagreement between Chiyue and Leo caused a stir online. Peijin came forward and took the initiative to propose cooperation with Chiyue to resolve public opinion. If it can be achieved, it's a win-win result. Luyu asks for my opinion. I have shares in both Chiyue and Hua's, what do you think? Business is business, there's no need to hold on to personal grudges so tightly. The two sides quickly reach a cooperation intention, and on the day of the signing, Peijin hosts a cocktail party. As soon as Luyu and I arrive, Peijin and Chinpian also come. Chinpian doesn't belong to either the Pei group or Leo, so her presence seems out of place. Undoubtedly, Peijin brought her to network. Always flaunting a powerful female persona, but in the end, she still relies on men to climb up. Liu almost rolls his eyes to the sky. He probably forgot that he himself wanted to poach KK to Chiyue back then. I smile and say nothing. To have so many men willing to be exploited by her, painstakingly helping her make connections, isn't that a kind of charm in itself? President Pei and Miss Chin are a perfect match. Female employees start to swoon. I can't help but look over there. Pei Jin is wearing a gray suit today. This outfit was custom-made for him a few months ago. To be precise, all his clothes these past few years have been my responsibility. Qin Pian wore a red tube-top dress, her hair piled high, a bit playful, yet not lacking in heroic spirit. Standing together, they did look like a good match. As if sensing something, Pei Jin looked over at me, and I looked away. Pei Jin smiled, not taking it to heart, and also withdrew his gaze. Qin Pian also looked over. Lu Yu and Lin Wan seemed to have a good relationship. I heard they're dating. No, Pei Jin replied. Qin Pian observed him carefully, unable to detect any concern, and couldn't help but smile. I heard Miss Chin's outfit is worth millions, custom-made for her by President Pei himself. President Pei really spoils Miss Chin to no end. Several employees chattered around us, and Lu Yu's face turned completely black. No one will think you're mute if you don't speak. Employees. What's wrong with Boss Lu again? I casually picked up a glass of wine for Lu Yu, comforting him, it's not necessary. Si Chen and Si Yu, the two brothers, also arrived. Si Chen went straight to Pei Jin and Qin Pian's side. Si Yu nodded towards Pei Jin and came over to us. The 3-day period has passed, and I didn't receive a reply from Miss Lin, so I came myself. Only then did I remember his invitation for me to go to the military headquarters. Sorry. I really forgot about this matter. Of course, I really didn't plan on going. It's best to avoid contact with anyone related to Qin Pian as much as possible. I'm afraid of being backstabbed again. Si Yu was already mentally prepared. It's okay. You don't have to rush to reply to me. Coincidentally, I have a shooting range that needs an intelligent control system. I wonder if Miss Lin is interested in cooperating first. The price is negotiable. Si Yu's eyes were very sincere. With such sincerity on display, it would be a bit impolite if I refused again. Okay. But that's all. Si Yu was a little surprised that I would agree so readily, but he still smiled and extended his hand. Then I wish us a happy cooperation. I also reached out, happy cooperation. Pei Jin's gaze looked over again, this time lingering for 0.1 seconds longer. Could young Master C be interested in Lin Wan? Qin Pian also saw the situation over there and deliberately asked Si Chen. Si Chen almost laughed out loud. A woman who hurts her own hand while beating someone, my brother wouldn't be interested in. My brother admires strength. He looked at Qin Pian meaningfully. Qin Pian smiled, seemingly not caring, and instead asked what happened with Lin Wan hitting someone. Speaking of that matter, Si Chen's contempt was palpable. That's it. I didn't do anything to her. I just held her at dagger point, that's all. I tolerated her wanting to hit me to vent her anger, but she ended up hurting her own hand with her punch. Isn't that ridiculous? Qin Pian actually laughed. Si Chen subconsciously rubbed the spot where he'd been punched. The boneless softness of it still felt strange to him. He couldn't help but recount Lin Wan's embarrassing attempt to punch him again. He was getting into it when he suddenly felt a chill down his spine. He turned around to meet Pei Jin's eyes. Pei Jin was holding a wine glass, savoring his drink while listening to him with a smile. Si Chen, was it just his imagination? Pei Jin waited until Si Chen finished speaking before asking Qin Pian, still want to learn the LIN algorithm? Qin Pian frowned. Pei Jin, I don't want to rely on others. You don't need to get involved in this. Pei Jin took her hand and squeezed it, smiling gently. Do I count as others? Qin Pian's cheeks flushed red. Si Chen was bombarded with PDA and spat in disgust. Pei Jin brought Qin Pian to find Lu Yu, getting straight to the point. I can give up 10% of the profits. I only have one request, let Qin Pian have technical contact with Chiue. I didn't say anything, holding my wine glass and taking a small sip. Impossible. Lu Yu didn't hide his disgust for Qin Pian. Furthermore, Qin Pian is not allowed to be involved in any cooperation between Qiyu and Liu. If you can't do that, we'll terminate the cooperation immediately. Qin Pian's eyes turned red with anger. Lu Yu, I don't think I've offended you, have I? Is that really necessary? Pei Jin squeezed her hand, not getting angry. He just glanced at me and asked Lu Yu, Lu, are you sure? Lu Yu was very angry. I'm absolutely sure. Do you want to terminate the contract? The commotion immediately attracted everyone's attention. Pei Jin put his arm around Qin Pian. I'll have someone discuss the termination matters tomorrow. A cooperation project worth billions, just down the drain? The two sides who were still celebrating the achievement of the cooperation were dumbfounded. President Pei dotes on Miss Qin, but there's no need to bet on Liu's future, right? I sipped my wine, feeling a lump in my throat. For Qin Pian, has Pei Jin become unable to separate public and private matters? I suddenly remembered a few months ago, when I went to work with a high fever and someone deliberately made things difficult for me. I couldn't even get a day off. Chen Yao said I could either persevere or quit, and Zhou Mi just happened to see it. I didn't believe that Zhou Mi hadn't mentioned it to him, but he never asked about it. That's probably the difference between love and no love. Because of the termination of the contract, there was a lot of internal trouble at Liu, but it had nothing to do with Qiyu. Although Qiyu lost the contract, it also received a large amount of liquidated damages. The next day, the divorce lawyer came. Sooner than I expected. The lawyer explained the property division to me in detail. Lu Yu deliberately calculated, adding up all the bits and pieces, it's over 10 billion. Pei Jin still has a conscience. Before the sound of his sigh had dissipated in the air, news suddenly broke online that Liu had changed hands. Pei Jin directly packaged and gifted the company worth hundreds of billions to Qin Pian. Ostensibly, it was to give Qin Pian a space to fully display her talents, but in reality, it was mocking Lu Yu for repeatedly rejecting Qin Pian and supporting her. Damn! Bastard! Lu Yu was furious. I finally understand why the divorce lawyer acted so quickly this time. It turns out they were in a hurry to divide the property so they could give Liu away. Pei Jin's phone call came. Are you free this afternoon? When we arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau, it started to drizzle. I didn't bring an umbrella. As I opened the car door, an umbrella was already open above my head. Pei Jin's tall figure blocked the slanting wind and rain. Thank you. We treated each other with courtesy, without arguing or complaining. The staff who wanted to mediate initially wanted to say something, but in the end, they all chose to remain silent. Pick up the divorce certificate in a month, Pei Jin said. I nodded. Coming home for dinner? How misses you? I looked up, 10 days. What? He hasn't called me for 10 consecutive days. Sometimes, I really suspect that Pei Jin is pitying me. Abandoned by her husband and disliked by the son she carried for 10 months. Pei Jin didn't say anything else, nor did he stay any longer, because Qin Pian had called him for dinner. He stuffed the umbrella into my hand and walked alone into the rain to get into the car. I remember this umbrella too, it was custom-made last year during the rainy season to match his clothes. I casually threw the umbrella into the trash can, raised my eyes, and met Pei Jin's gaze. He sat in the car, as if he wanted to say something to me, but seeing my actions, he smiled, started the car, and left. He didn't care about these things, so why should I? I didn't drive, I walked alone into the drizzling rain. 5 years, I went from being all alone to having a home that I cherished so much, and now, like a stray dog, my heart felt as if it had been hollowed out. Unknowingly, I arrived at Hao Hao's kindergarten. Pei Jin and Qin Pian stood side by side at the entrance. The teacher led Hao Hao out, and Hao Hao happily threw himself into their arms. Qin Pian picked him up, and Pei Jin held up another umbrella to shield them from all the wind and rain. In a daze, it seemed like Pei Jin had never accompanied me to pick up Hao Hao before. After my divorce from him, How finally seemed to have complete parents on the outside. That's fine. I turned and left. How suddenly looked towards the street. He seemed to have just seen his mother. He glanced at the phone watch on his wrist. How long has it been since his mother called him? She used to call several times a day, which was annoying, but now it feels like something is missing. But it doesn't matter, he has Aunt Pian Pian now, and besides, a mother is always a mother, she will come back to him sooner or later. The rain gradually increased. I didn't realize it until I felt raindrops sliding down my forehead. Miss Lin. I turned around, it was Siyu. Siyu stopped the car and walked over in the rain. I snapped back to reality, Mr. C. The light rain blurred my eyes, and I couldn't see his face clearly. My wrist was grabbed. Get in the car first. Siyu took me to the shooting range he owned. There were many people there in the evening. He led me to the changing room. If you don't mind, change into this first. It's brand new, never been used. I expressed my thanks. After changing, milk tea, coffee, light tea were arranged in a row on the coffee table. I'm a rough man, I don't know what you girls like to drink. Suddenly, I remembered my first date with Pei Jean. How was just 1 year old then. Pei Jean took me to see a movie, and when I came out of the restroom, there was a table full of drinks like this. He also said, I don't know what you like. I saw that the only drink that had 2 servings was light tea, so, that time, I chose light tea. Can I have a glass of plain water? I asked. Without saying a word, Siyu brought me a glass of warm water. The warmth soothed my throat, and my body regained some warmth. Am I a very bland and boring person? I turned the water glass in my hand and mocked myself. Look, even the water I drink is so tasteless. Siyu didn't answer, but stood up and invited with a smile, now that you're here, why not take a look at my shooting range? I'm still waiting for you to help me improve the system. After visiting several venues, I realized that the staff here were not all perfectly healthy. Are they your former subordinates? Siyu nodded. They are all retired veterans who unfortunately suffered from certain ailments during missions. I thought, this intelligent shooting training system is something I could help him with. We talked until late at night. Siyu sent me home, and when I got out of the car, he suddenly said, actually, plain water is the most nourishing to the lungs, and plain water is not bland, on the contrary, it is very mellow. He waved to me and drove away. For the next 20 days, I shuttled between Chiue and the shooting range. Siyu wasn't there every day. On the last day of system debugging, I took the initiative to contact him. Siyu said, perfect timing, I'll be there tomorrow too. How about we grab a meal together? I didn't refuse. Early the next morning, a veteran took me to the inner range for final debugging. Passing by Siyu's dedicated shooting range, I saw Qin Pian. This Miss Qin is incredible, she cleared the stages from F Hall all the way to A Hall in just 2 hours. This is Boss C's exclusive S Hall. Usually, only a few elite soldiers are qualified to enter and compete with Boss C. This is the first time a woman has set foot in it. The veteran leading the way had nothing but admiration in his eyes. Inside the hall, Siyu looked at Qin Pian with equally admiring eyes. Just like how Pei Jean looked at Qin Pian for the first time at the racetrack. I just glanced at them and said, let's go. It was almost noon when the testing was finally completed. Siyu and Qin Pian also came out of the shooting room. Mr. C, a pleasure doing business with you. Qin Pian held out her hand. Siyu shook it, a pleasure doing business with you too. I didn't know what kind of deal they had struck, but the atmosphere was very harmonious. Qin Pian turned her head and saw me, nodding with a smile, her eyes revealing a hint of arrogance and smugness, and the disdain I was so used to seeing. Siyu walked over. I handed him the test checklist, Siyu signed it, and then handed the list back to me. Thank you for your hard work. What would you like for lunch? Thank you, but I have other things to attend to. Siyu was slightly stunned, not expecting to be rejected. I handed him a business card. If any problems arise with the system operation, feel free to contact us at any time. CU took it. It was a business card from the technical department, not my personal one. He suddenly understood something and replied with a smile, okay. I nodded, not having anything else to say, and left directly. CU saw me to the door. As soon as my card disappeared, he took out his phone and called Sichin. What exactly is the grudge between Lin Wan and Qin Pian? He didn't want to interfere with matters between women, but now. You know that Qin Pian is with Pei Jin, right? Then do you know who Lin Wan's husband is? It's Pei Jin. Siyu was shocked. Sichin continued, there's no real grudge between Lin Wan and Qin Pian. It's just Lin Wan's one-sided envy and jealousy of Qin Pian, which is why she targets her in everything. Qin Pian has never taken her seriously. Disdain and contempt filled his words. Siyu frowned, feeling very uncomfortable. Qin Pianruo really didn't take Lin Wan seriously. Lu Yu had the Pei family backing her and had many cooperation options. Why did she have to chase him down to the shooting range? Also, Siyu didn't think Lin Wan would become irreconcilable with someone just for a man. Go check Lin Wan's family background. He instructed his subordinates. Soon, a detailed investigation report was placed in front of him. Siyu's face turned cold. So that's how it is. On the other side, Qin Pian was still celebrating with others. She was very happy today. To be able to win over Siyu in one fell swoop. When she scored a perfect 10 rings, she knew that Siyu would inevitably fall at her feet like other men. Sure enough, the subsequent cooperation was easy to discuss, and she could sign the contract tomorrow. So what if Lin Wan got involved with Lu Yu? Just Lu Yu was not even comparable to Sichin, let alone Pei Jin and Siyu. Qin Pian boldly picked up her wine glass and addressed the crowd, drink. It was at this moment that Siyu's phone call came. Cooperation, cancelled. No apologies, and no explanations. The calm and aloof expression on Qin Pian's face cracked slightly. That night, Qin Jin took the initiative to call me. Are you free tomorrow night? Let's have dinner. As my own brother, how many years had it been since he contacted me? I was about to refuse when he said, tomorrow is Mom's death anniversary. Okay. At the agreed time, I arrived at the agreed location. Pushing open the door, everyone from the Qin family was there. Qin Ruhai, my father. Qin Jin, my own brother. Zhao Xinru, my mistress' stepmother. Naturally, the core figure of today, Qin Pian, was also present. So, my own brother actually used my mother's death anniversary to arrange a gathering for Qin Pian. Mom's death anniversary, and you invite them? Qin Jin, well done. Qin Ruhai slammed the table. Qin Wan, what's your attitude? My name is Lin Wan now. Has President Qin forgotten? 10 years ago, you kicked me out of the Qin family. I'm not a member of the Qin family now, nor am I your daughter. You have no right to lecture me. Qin Ruhai was so angry that his beard bristled and his eyes widened. Zhao Xinru gently stroked his back. Teach the child well if she's being ignorant. Don't get angry. What if it harms your health? I was too lazy to watch these scumbags act, and directly stared at Qin Pian. Speak, what's the purpose? Qin Pian didn't speak, but looked at Qin Jin. Qin Jin raised his chin. I heard you hooked up with the eldest son of the C family and deliberately obstructed his cooperation with Pian Pian? Is that what Qin Pian is saying? And everyone believed it. I laughed. So what? Pian Pian's project is very important. We'll allow you to join in. That way, you should be able to stop targeting Pian Pian, right? What if I don't agree? Qin Jin sneered. Aren't you afraid I'll expose your scandals to see you? At that time, you won't get any advantage. This is my own brother, bullying his own sister to this extent for the sake of the vicious mother and daughter who killed his biological mother. It's hard to say who has more scandals. You can try it and see who will be afraid in the end. Qin Jin was so angry that he jumped. Qin Pian patted Qin Jin's back like her mistress mother, smoothing things over with a smile. Lin Wan, you've misunderstood. Pei Jin was originally going to treat our family to dinner today to discuss the wedding. My heart was stabbed hard again, catching me off guard. As soon as Qin Pian finished speaking, there was a knock on the door of the private room, and Pei Jin pushed the door in. He was slightly stunned when he saw me. Qin Pian immediately said, Lin Wan is also a member of the Qin family. It's only right that she's here. This sentence seemed to say nothing, and yet it seemed to say everything. I inexplicably became an entangled ex-wife. Qin Ruhai and Zhao Xinru offered a series of flattering greetings. My dear father, Qin Ruhai, suddenly attacked me. Wan, now that President Pei is here, tell the truth, what will it take for you to let Pian Pian go? I was laughed at by this group of beasts. Pei Jin and I haven't gotten our divorce certificate yet? Aren't you afraid that I won't get it at that time and delay you for a few more years? So that Qin Pian can only be a mistress like her mother forever? Bang! Qin Jin slammed the table and stood up. Lin Wan, do you have to be crazy like mom? Qin Jin, you are such a beast. I couldn't hold back and threw a cup over. Blood immediately gushed from Qin Jin's forehead. Almost at the same time, my wrist was grabbed, and I slapped back. Pei Jin didn't dodge, and the slap landed squarely on his face. The entire private room fell into dead silence. Pei Jin touched his cheek, showing no sign of anger. Instead, he looked at me very calmly. Pian Pian wants to open up military connections. Name your price. At that moment, my brain cells exploded. My stomach churned. I shook him off and stormed out. I leaned over the flower bed and vomited until I was dizzy. When I stood up again, everything went black, and I fell straight forward. A pair of large hands caught me in time. It was Pei Jin. I pushed him away, and my body staggered again. This time, I fell into a warm embrace. It was Siyu. Siyu stopped Pei Jin's hand from reaching out to help me, and a cold, stern face cracked open a fissure. Didn't President Pei realize? Miss Lin was disgusted to the point of vomiting by you and that family. Siyu picked me up and left, and I didn't look at Pei Jin again. Pei Jin's hand fell empty, and he didn't retract it for a long time. This time, is it him? He murmured in a low voice, seeming somewhat lonely. When Qin Pian chased after him, Pei Jin was still standing there. Jin, you don't need to beg. She saw Siyu, and me in Siyu's arms, and her voice came to an abrupt halt. Pei Jin came back to his senses and gently put his arm around her waist. You should give up on the military side. I can give you other platforms. Leo's self-driving technology has good prospects. If you can make it, it won't be worse than over there. Qin Pian nodded. What she was thinking in her heart was that her dependence on Pei Jin was growing. This was a very dangerous sign. She had never been one to give up an entire forest for a single tree, nor had she ever been an appendage of any man. She could belong to the most outstanding man, but not just any man. Whether it was the military or Siyu, she had to win them over. I sat in the car and drank a whole glass of plum juice before suppressing the churning in my stomach. Siyu didn't say anything, just handed me water and tissues. Qin Pian's mother used to be a nanny in my house. It was my mother who took pity on them and specially brought them home in the name of a nanny. My dad fell in love with her mother's consideration and gentleness, and wanted to divorce my mom. Even my brother advised my mom not to hinder their relationship. My mom was forced into a dead end by them. That day, during a scuffle between my mom and Zhao Xinru pushed her down the stairs, fracturing her neck, and she died on the spot. I clearly saw it with my own eyes, but they all said it was an accident, and it was all my mom's fault. Zhao Xinru killed my mom, but didn't receive any punishment. The Qin family even went around proclaiming that my mom had gone crazy. Before my mom's body was even cold, the mistress married my dad. I paused, and then continued. 10 years ago, Lu Yu and I wanted to hold a hacker attack and defense competition. At the first competition, I met my strongest opponent, and later, I gradually developed feelings for him. That person is Pei Jean? Siyu asked. I didn't deny it. Pei Jean doesn't like me. 5 years ago, I applied for a master's degree at Braun, a leading figure in smart technology, wanting to use this to get away and forget him. In order to help Qin Pian steal the spot, Zhao Xingru drugged me and sent me to a man's bed. This person is also Pei Jean? I nodded. That was an accident. How could Zhao Xingru be so kind? I inexplicably knew that Zhao Xingru had picked a domestic abuser for me. I even knew that I would be filmed that night and eventually forced to marry that animal. In the years that followed, no matter how I struggled, I couldn't escape the fate of being beaten to death. In the end, I would be falsely accused of being as crazy as my mom, and the Qin family would happily compensate the domestic abuser with a large sum of money. Everyone would be happy. But the truth was not like that. That dilapidated little hotel was definitely not a place where Pei Jean should have appeared. Later, Qin Pian became KK, renowned both at home and abroad. As for Pei Jean and Qin Pian, it was Pei Jean who cheated, so I have nothing to say. So, I said to Siyu very seriously. I will not accept any business partners who have dealings with the Qin family or Qin Pian. I hope you understand. Siyu's eyes were as deep as a dark pool. After a long silence, he finally said 3 words, I'm sorry. I thought that perhaps I could work with this person. Let's give it a try then. The next day, Siyu, representing the military, wrote me a separate guarantee, promising that Qin Pian and related members of the Qin family would never be involved in the collaborative project. I participated in their drone swarm project. At the same time, I also restarted several research projects that I had abandoned 5 years ago. On the day I received my divorce certificate from Pei Jean, I was surprisingly calm. In the end, Pei Jean said to me, Lin Wan, goodbye. I turned back and looked at him. Goodbye, Pei Jean. The wind brushed past my ears, finally blowing away all the infatuation I once had for him. I heard that Leo had launched an unmanned driving technology project. Leo had been planning this project for a long time, and now that Qin Pian has just taken over Leo, he is presiding over the overall situation, which feels a bit like reaping the benefits of others' efforts. However, none of this concerns me. The military's drone swarm project and the projects I have in hand are enough to consume all my time. 2 months later, the first project was declared successful. When the project information was sent to Dingli, Sichen had just returned from abroad. He was in a bad mood. Next time, can you verify it before sending me over? He had been looking for Lin for 10 years. 5 years ago, Lin disappeared completely. This time, he heard that Lin might be in the US, so he applied for a flight route overnight and took a private plane over, but it was nothing. At this moment, the secretary brought over Chiyue's project data from the past 2 months. With just one glance, his brain almost shut down. Because this was the project that Lin had left behind when she left 5 years ago, and now it had been restarted. Looking at the project leader again, Lin Wan. He suddenly remembered the attack and defense competition between Chiyue and Leo. Sichen jumped up as if he had been pricked by a needle. He rushed straight out. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. He shouted, but his feet moved even faster. Just as he got into the car, Qin Pian's call came. Sichen, I've found Lin. Luyu is helping Lin Wan seize Lin's project. Lin needs your help. When I returned to Chiyue from the military, I heard from my colleagues that Dingli was going to hold a celebration banquet for me, and Sichen had used his connections to invite many media personalities to attend. Luyu didn't want to miss this opportunity for free publicity, so he called me to his office to discuss the details. Sichen was there too. He sat upright on the sofa, just watching me with a cold and gloomy gaze. He didn't say a word, but I felt his malice toward me had intensified. When Luyu discussed issues with him, he would force a smile. His behavior was strange, yet you couldn't quite put your finger on what was odd about it. Luyu comforted me, saying, he's probably just upset that you stole Qin Pian's thunder. You know, Qin Pian's simps are all like that. I didn't take it to heart. On the day of the celebration banquet, almost all the industry's celebrities were invited. I followed the procedure to introduce the products, while answering everyone's questions and doubts. The atmosphere at the venue was harmonious and pleasant. Si-Chen stood outside the crowd the entire time, watching without any unusual behavior. The climax of the celebration banquet was when he personally presented me with the annual Best Contribution Award. I stood on the stage, watching him walk towards me step by step, and watching the smile on his face gradually turn into disdain and mockery. Lin Wan, having stolen the fruits of another's labor, are you ready to accept the punishment? The banquet hall doors were suddenly pushed open. Qin Pian made a dazzling entrance. Accompanying her was a woman guarded by more than a dozen bodyguards. She is Lin. Si-Chen announced loudly. As we all know, these research projects were all left behind by Lin 5 years ago. Lu Yu, how do you explain helping Lin Wan steal Lin's scientific research achievements for your own selfish gain? Did you think Lin would never come back? Or did you think the goons you sent out could eliminate Lin and allow your uneducated tea-girl mistress to take her place? His words were forceful and resonated deeply. Si-Chen stared at me fiercely. The phrase tea-girl mistress dragged my reputation through the mud. I knew that Si-Chen wanted to kill me off with one blow. To beat me down until I had no chance of recovery. I glanced at him indifferently. In the past, I didn't understand why Qin Pian's simps were so malicious towards me. Now I still don't understand, but I'm used to it. Qin Pian was happy to sit back and watch the show. Lin Wan, do you have anything to say? Si-Chen questioned me. My expression was calm. I have nothing to say. Because there's really no evidence to prove my identity. Naturally, there's also no evidence to prove that this imposter who popped up out of nowhere is the real Lin. Si-Chen sneered, his face full of glee. Good, if you won't say it, there's always a place that will make you talk. Almost as soon as he finished speaking, Siyu arrived. Siyu was accompanied by a troop of soldiers. They were armed and in full gear, stepping into the banquet hall in perfect unison, commanding respect from everyone and silencing any hint of unrest. Si-Chen handed over all the evidence he had collected to Siyu. This is the original data Lin gave me, identical to Lin Wan's archived data. Also, this is the physical evidence and video evidence from when Lin was attacked. Si-Chen looked at me and Lu Yu coldly, as if we were already dead. After Siyu reviewed the evidence, the corners of his mouth quirked up. Arrest them! A look of satisfaction flashed across Si-Chen's face. But this expression lasted less than 2 seconds because the soldiers didn't seize me and Lu Yu, but Qin Pian and the so-called Lin. Brother, you've arrested the wrong people. Si-Chen panicked. No mistake. Siyu handed him another set of documents. Take a good look. Who is the real Lin? After reading the documents, Si-Chen's body began to tremble. When he looked at me again, his eyes were filled with terror. Siyu wasted no time and walked directly to Qin Pian and the imposter. Someone reported half a month ago that someone was impersonating Lin with the intention of harming Lin. You will come with me. As he left, he nodded to me across the crowd, not revealing my identity. Lu Yu patted my shoulder. Let's go too. He gave Si-Chen a look of disgust and mockery. Si-Chen's face was ashen as he looked at me. But I didn't look at him again, leaving under Lu Yu's escort. The military's involvement in this matter made it a huge deal. Qi employees even caught several spies. Calling them spies might not be appropriate. Some people, for the sake of profit, thought it didn't matter to leak a little bit of information, but when there are too many of these people, someone will eventually find a breakthrough. Since that day, Si-Chen came to Chia every day. Holding flowers, he stood in the lobby downstairs, looking like a lovesick fool who couldn't get what he wanted. Lu Yu chased him away several times, but he wouldn't leave. I didn't understand what he wanted to do, nor was I interested in knowing. Unable to bear it any longer, I went to see him. He was so excited that his forehead was sweating. It was the first time I saw this aloof young master so flustered. I wasn't in the mood to waste words with Qin Pian's simp, so I cut straight to the point. Regarding the Lin matter, I understand your behavior. Si Chen was overjoyed, his eyes sparkling. Lin Wan. I raised my hand to interrupt him. But you didn't choose to question me face to face, you didn't choose to ask me for verification, but instead you gathered industry authorities and all the media to publicly ruin my reputation. President Xi was determined to kill me back then, wasn't he? Now you're acting like this to apologize? To beg for forgiveness? What grounds do you have to say that? Or are you going to hold me accountable because Qin Pian is the one who's been disgraced this time? Si Chen was visibly flustered. Lin Wan, I didn't mean that. I just wanted to. I didn't have the patience to listen and waved my hand. If you want to seek so-called justice for Qin Pian, I'm ready for you anytime. The car Si sent to pick me up to the military had arrived, and I turned to leave. The roses fell to the ground, and Si Chen stood there in a daze, as if he had lost his soul. Why is this happening? Why? He crouched on the ground, covering his face and head, looking so pitiful. Siyu only glanced inside, said nothing, and opened the car door for me. The matter has been thoroughly investigated. The mastermind is a foreign power. They have contact with Qin Pian, but it was facilitated through Qin Pian's mother, Zhao Xingru. Qin Pian was just being used. Zhao Xingru has been arrested, but the higher-ups are considering that the self-driving technology Qin Pian is currently responsible for is very valuable, and Pei Jin submitted several important projects to vouch for Qin Pian, so the higher-ups decided to let her off the hook. I nodded. At least, the person who killed my mother is in. As for Qin Pian, it's not surprising that she was able to get out. Because Pei Jin would not let anything happen to Qin Pian, he would protect her no matter what. When we arrived at the entrance of the military base, Pei Jin was just picking up Qin Pian. After being detained in the military base for a few days, Qin Pian's eyes were sunken, and her face was pale. She looked at me as if she saw a monster. Are you Lin? I replied calmly, I am not. Her face twisted, and she bit her front teeth lightly, as if she had been insulted. Pei Jin gently stroked her back. It's time to go home. Pei Jin nodded to Siyu and me, and protected Qin Pian as they left. This is probably true love. No matter what Qin Pian becomes, he is willing to be by her side, protecting her. Siyu opened the gate of the military base for me and unusually added a word. Don't be sad for people who aren't worth it. You deserve the best in this world. I paused slightly. I smiled, thank you. I heard that the spy incident was a big blow to Qin Pian. She began to devote herself wholeheartedly to self-driving technology. The Qin family is Lu Yu's largest partner. As expected of the heavenly daughter with multiple identities, the self-driving technology was launched quickly. That day, the internet was full of Lu Yu's promotional articles. Qin Pian and the Qin family stood together, sharing this prosperous scene. But not long after the self-driving car was launched, accidents occurred frequently. Lu Yu quickly faced huge compensation payments and was on the verge of bankruptcy, and the Qin family was dragged into the abyss. All the negative news came overwhelmingly. Pei Jin once again stepped forward to protect Qin Pian. That day, he announced his marriage to Qin Pian. Qin Pian also updated this good news at the first moment. Now, her Weibo seems to have changed from an exciting hacker showcase to a love corner for her and Pei Jin. Even Fan Xin unfollowed her. But there are still many brain-dead fans. Brain-dead fans flocked in, and the screen was filled with blessings. This Pei Jin is really. Lu Yu didn't know what to scold. There was also a lot of scolding and complaining online. But more people envied the fairy tale love between Pei Jin and Qin Pian. At this moment, I suddenly felt relieved. Pian Pian is in a bad mood. I want to go on vacation abroad with her. Can you take good care of him for a few days? This was the first time Pei Jin contacted me after the divorce. This time I didn't refuse. As a mother, I also have an obligation to take care of him. I rarely didn't work overtime and went to the kindergarten to pick him up. How was arguing with a few children. How, do you have a stepmother? My mother said that stepmothers beat people and don't give you food. They will also steal all your property and leave you homeless. How's little face turned red with anger. Auntie Pian wouldn't. Auntie Pian is the best. Better than my mother. How, your mother is here. How suddenly turned his head and saw me. His eyes were full of astonishment, his small mouth moved, and he suddenly didn't know what to say to me. I smiled and reached out to him. How, let's go home. How took small steps, cautiously walked to my side, and carefully took my hand. I didn't look at him, just at the road ahead, the clouds in the distance. I made his favorite jajangmyeon, noodles with savory soybean paste, for him one last time. Read him a bedtime story for the last time. Gave him a final kiss on the forehead and said good night for the last time. Then got up and left resolutely. Mom. How hadn't fallen asleep, he chased after me. I opened the car door and looked back at him. Under the light, his face was panicked and scared. I waved to him, smiling as gentle as ever. How cried, Mom, do you not want how anymore? I still smiled gently, but didn't reply with a single word. I got into the car on my own, started the engine, and turned the car around. Mom! The heart-wrenching cries tore through the night sky. But my heart was already calm. I heard that Pei Jin and Qin Pian held their wedding after their vacation. I heard that How kept crying for his mother. But I had already blocked him. I didn't go to the wedding, I was busy researching the drone swarm project for the military. CU sent many people to protect me, but I was still attacked as the project neared completion. A car collided with mine, and I suffered a severe concussion. In the moment before I lost consciousness, I saw several men in black taking out daggers. I thought my life would end there, but a familiar, tall figure blocked all the attacks. Pei Jin. When I woke up, I was already in the hospital. The person by my side was CU. CU held my hand, his beard almost concealing his perfect handsome face. I remembered the figure who fought valiantly for me. Why, at the end of my life, would I still hope that person would be Pei Jin? He would definitely not appear. Because at this moment, he should be honeymooning with Qin Pian on the other side of the world. Have I become hopeless to this extent? Still missing him even at this time? Looking at CU's sunken eyes, inexplicably, I asked a question. CU, would you be willing to marry me? CU's face was as if it had been frozen. He held my hand even tighter. The pain in my wrist made me realize my impudence. Just kidding. He interrupted me before I could finish speaking. I do. I stayed in the hospital for half a month. On the day I was discharged, I asked him, how is your injury? During the car accident that day, although I was dizzy, I still saw the knife stab him. CU was slightly stunned. Just a small injury, all better. What I didn't know was that CU came to the hospital again that night. He walked into the VIP ward and looked at the person who had been stabbed more than a dozen times and almost hadn't been saved. Pei Jin, what on earth are you thinking? Pei Jin, who do you really love? That day, when he arrived, Pei Jin had already lost his fighting ability. He watched him tightly hug Lin Wan, using his own body to block all the attacks. Before losing consciousness, the last thing he said was, "Don't tell her." While unconscious, the look on his face as he held Lin Wan wasn't one of pain, but of satisfaction and happiness, as if he had finally protected what was most important to him. CU didn't believe it, didn't believe he didn't love Lin Wan. But if he loved her, why was he with Qin Pian, and why did he hurt her like that? For the first time, CU couldn't contain the anger on his face in front of outsiders. But Pei Jin smiled as he looked at him. Does that matter? CU, to me, it's very important. Pei Jin's expression became desolate. CU, do you believe in rebirth? 20 Pei Jin chapter. Last night, I had another nightmare. I dreamt of that girl confidently issuing a challenge to me. Pei Jin, want to compete with me? If you win, I'll do something for you. If I win, you have to grant me a request. She was as bright and cheerful as the warm spring sun. In that hacking competition, she lost. She said she would catch up to me. In 5 years, she not only caught up to me but also demonstrated talent far beyond the average person. She chased after me for 5 years, and I rejected her for 5 years. The last time, she said she was leaving, going to a place without me. My male pride prevented me from uttering a single word of retention. I regretted it the moment she left. I went to the place where she was studying abroad. I didn't find her, but I met another girl who resembled her greatly. That was Chin Pian. Standing on the competition stage, her rebellious gaze was just like hers. Chin Pian became a very good partner of mine. That time I returned to the country, I was invited to her family banquet. In that private room, I saw Lin Wan again. She was sitting next to a boorish man. His face was full of fat, and his mouth was greasy while he ate. And when she greeted me, she only showed a pale smile, as if we had never met. The once brilliant girl had been worn down by married life and lost all her radiance. Like a withered little white flower, quietly waiting to wither. At that moment, I only felt a sense of suffocation. However, Chin Pian said that they were a very loving couple. As if to verify this, that man put his arm around her shoulder and gave her a deep kiss in public. Instead of avoiding, she tilted her head slightly, gazing at me silently with a smile I couldn't decipher. That smile had once been my nightmare. That family banquet had a profound impact on me, and I subconsciously avoided any possibility of meeting her. The next time I saw her was at her funeral. The Chin family said she was crazy, that she fought with her husband and he killed her in self-defense. The Chin family even paid that man a large sum of money as compensation. However, in the photos from the private investigator, I saw her fingers broken one by one, her skin and flesh cut off, her eyeballs gouged out in hatred. But everyone said she was crazy, that the scumbag acted in self-defense. My heart was bleeding. Why didn't she ask me for help? At that moment, I seemed to finally understand the meaning of that smile. That day, I suddenly reborn. I was reborn to the day her stepmother sent her to that scumbag's bed. I was overjoyed and at a loss. I replaced that scumbag and became her husband. I tried to give her all the beauty in the world, to make up for all the pain she had suffered. I thought I could change her ending, but her tragedy was never because of that abusive man, but because of Chin Pian. As long as Chin Pian appeared, she would be pushed into the abyss step by step. Each time, Chin Pian, bathed in a halo of popularity, poisoned her world, stealing all her opportunities, as well as the relatives and friends closest and most trusted by her. She was like a supporting female character in a beloved novel, always just a tool for the Mary Sue main character to step on to rise to the top. Each time, she never lived past 28. I had witnessed her die in bizarre and terrible ways. I had also tried to kill Chin Pian. But Chin Pian was unkillable. Not only could she not be killed, adversity only made her achievements greater and her female lead halo stronger. Finally, I thought of only one way, to gradually wear down her protagonist halo. This, only I could do. I knew I was running out of time. I had to let go of Lin Wan. It was really difficult to make her completely give up on me. I chose the most extreme method. Finally, she really gave up. That day, I cooked her a bowl of clear soup noodles. She once said that she liked the clear soup noodles I made the most. Even my grandmother, who loved me the most, couldn't say she liked the clear soup noodles, but she always ate them with relish. But that day, she only felt disgusted. She really started to loathe me. After so many lifetimes, she finally loathed me. She was really going to let go. I should be happy. But, why, does my heart ache so much? 21 that day, Siu heard a very mystical story. A story about a man who was reborn countless times just to save a woman. As long as I am still Pei Jin, and still have unparalleled ability and status, no matter how many admirers and pursuers Chin Pian has, she will only be tied to my side forever. I can wear down her halo little by little, so that she can never harm Lin Wan again. So said Pei Jin. Siyu didn't believe in past or present lives, but he couldn't help but ask, Pei Jin, you hate Qin Pian so much, how can you pretend to be so affectionate and deceive everyone? Pei Jin smiled and looked at him, just practice a few more times. If a few times doesn't work, then dozens of times, or hundreds of times. The corner of Siyu's mouth twitched. How many times have you been reborn? Pei Jin smiled. I can't remember. That day, when leaving, Siyu asked Pei Jin, in those lifetimes you've experienced, what kind of person am I? Have I ever hurt her like those people? If he didn't know she was Lin, if he was also bewitched by Qin Pian, just like his admiration for her at the shooting range, how would he treat Lin Wan? Pei Jin smiled and looked at him. That smile was clearly as warm and gentle as a spring breeze. But his heart was being clenched little by little. Siyu suddenly didn't want to know the answer. As he closed the door, Pei Jin suddenly said, although. But, you never took her life. Siyu almost lost his balance. So, those people had all killed her? His fist clenched so tightly it almost dug into his flesh. I saw Siyu downstairs at the company. It was raining, and he stood alone in the rain, looking like he had lost his soul. Siyu! Siyu raised his eyes, focused on me, and finally there was a glimmer of light in his eyes. I was a little worried and moved the umbrella over his head. He was a head taller than me, and it took some effort to raise my arm. He took the umbrella and asked me with a smile, what do you want to eat? Delicacies from land and sea, the ends of the earth, mountains of knives and seas of fire, as long as you want it, I'll accompany you. I burst out laughing. I'd think you were proposing. Siyu immediately knelt on one knee. Lin Wan, will you marry me? His deep eyes contained unfathomable pain. I couldn't understand it. But I could see his sincerity and determination. In the year I turned 29, Siyu and I held our wedding. Pei Jin and Qin Pian also came. Pei Jin sent many congratulatory gifts. The gift list was a long page. Some joked that Pei Jin didn't seem to be attending his ex-wife's wedding, but rather sending his daughter off to get married. Qin Pian has changed a lot in the past 2 years. Perhaps the clashes she experienced had caused her psychological trauma. Since Luyu went bankrupt, she hasn't set foot in the internet field again. Her return to the racing stage once caused a stir, attracting countless fans. I even saw Pei Jin and Hao in the stands at the racetrack. Not long ago, Qin Pian had an accident and injured her spine. To relieve the pain and continue racing, she touched things she shouldn't have until she became addicted. Now her eyes are somewhat hollow, and her skin is thin, dry, and sallow. She's long lost the glamour and radiance she once had. Like today, even though she's wearing the most expensive gowns and jewelry, it's hard for her to attract attention. But even so, Pei Jin still loves her very much. He can't wait to give her the best of everything. The jewelry she's wearing is worth tens of billions. Even the richest families don't flaunt it like this. But Pei Jin is willing to spoil her. Over the years, Pei's company has continued to flourish, with hints of becoming the richest. Luyu was unconvinced, saying why should a scumbag like him become the richest man? He vowed to help me get it back and make me the richest woman in the world. If Pei Jin can't even beat him, doesn't that mean I was really blind back then? Congratulations, you're one step closer to becoming the richest man. Siyu sent his sincere blessings. Pei Jin replied with a smile, how can I keep her if I don't work hard? He held Qin Pian even tighter. Sure enough, it was for Qin Pian. Now, my heart doesn't hurt anymore. Even though Qin Pian's eyes were even more blatant and provocative than before. She probably doesn't realize that she has now completely become the kind of person she once looked down on the most, someone who needs to rely on men to enhance their vanity and sense of existence. I said to Pei Jin the most sincere sentence of my life, I wish you happiness. Pei Jin looked at me, his smile as warm as ever. You too. It was just the breeze blowing past, turning into sharp blades, not knowing whose heart it was shattering into pieces. But he smiled as gently as ever. Siyu turned his head away, not even daring to look at him. That day, Sichin also came and drank a lot of wine. He wanted to talk to someone, so he walked over to Pei Jin. I was the one who met her first, why? Pei Jin smiled and looked at him. If Lin Wan and Qin Pian were kidnapped at the same time and you could only save one, who would you choose to save? Sichin was stunned, and immediately answered, Lin. Pei Jin's smile deepened. No, you will choose to save Qin Pian. The assertive tone annoyed Sichin, as if he had actually done that before. But if Qin Pian was still the radiant Qin Pian she once was, would he really not hesitate? But suddenly, a scene flashed before his eyes, as if it had really happened before, and his brain throbbed. Pei Jin didn't look at him again. Anyone who could hurt her should not stay by her side, including her own son Hao Hao. Turning back, Pei Jin looked at the newlyweds. See you mustn't disappoint me, otherwise. One day, I just took out Hao Hao's photo and looked at it, and Siyu ran to Pei Jin to drink. Where's Hao Hao? I haven't seen him in a long time. He's abroad. He's so young, you left him alone abroad? Siyu was shocked, even a little angry. Pei Jin smiled. That day, he asked Hao Hao, if Mommy and Auntie Pian Pian fell into the water together, who would you save? Hao Hao said naively, Hao Hao wants to save both of them. What if you could only save one? Hao Hao was so anxious that he cried. He tilted his little head and thought seriously, save Auntie Pian Pian. Hao Hao doesn't want to see Auntie Pian Pian get hurt. What about Mommy? Mommy can do anything. Mommy understands Hao Hao the most. Mommy won't blame Hao Hao. But if Hao Hao doesn't save Mommy, Mommy might die. Then let Mommy learn to swim properly. He thought the answer would be different this time, but as a result. The next day, Pei Jin sent Hao Hao abroad, because I won't keep anyone who could hurt her by her side. Hearing these words, Siyu's heart trembled, and he chose to shut up. Pei Jin still looked calm. Have a child with her, she likes children. Siyu didn't speak, but took a big gulp of wine. Pei Jin, do you regret it? Regret giving her to me? Pei Jin smiled at him. You know what? Actually, I also like to drink plain water. Lin Wan liked a drama, and every time it was released, he would take her to see it and order all the drinks in the entire mall, letting her choose the one she liked. Dozens of drinks, one of each, only one of which was two. The first time, he ordered 2 coffees, and she picked up the coffee that time. The second time, he ordered 2 cups of bitter tea. She frowned in bitterness, but still finished a whole cup. Finally, this time, he ordered 2 cups of clear tea. She clearly likes plain water, but every time she's by my side, she chooses to compromise, no matter how good I am to her. Siyu suddenly remembered what Pei Jin had said. He won't let anyone who could hurt her stay by her side. Does that include him? Pei Jin swirled his wine glass, staring at the liquid swirling inside. I clearly also like clear water, yet I recklessly enjoy the tea-making skills she perfected for me in the end. Siyu, someone like me isn't worth it. Siyu's heart felt like it had been pricked all over by countless needles. He raised his glass and clinked it against Pei Jin's. On TV, Lin's latest scientific achievement was being broadcast. They both looked up, their eyes filled only with tenderness. After finishing their drinks, they came out, and fine, dense snowflakes were falling. Pei Jin looked up, and he seemed to see the girl dancing in the snowflakes again, excitedly shouting to him, Pei Jin, it's snowing. A car drove up. It was Lin Wan coming to pick up Siyu, who had been drinking, to take him home. Countless times in the past, she had come to pick him up like this. But now, she just nodded at him coldly, like a complete stranger. Pei Jin still had a gentle smile as he walked alone into the endless wind and snow. Reborn 1,000 times, just to trade for your peace and happiness in this life. My dear, you must be happy in this life. Pei Jin.